It was one of those moments on live television that leaves viewers absolutely stunned. Whoopi Goldberg, with unwavering determination and a piercing stare, made a statement about Donald Trump that instantly polarized the entire country. Now, Trump supporters are clamoring for her removal from The View. But what did Whoopi actually say that has the Trump team scrambling to control the damage? This isn't just another typical argument. What happened will make you reconsider the entire debate swirling around Trump, Epstein, and the way American justice works. Whoopi is no stranger to the spotlight and has navigated controversy before. But this time she ignited a political firestorm so intense that it shocked even her own co-hosts. During the latest live episode of The View, she broke from the script and delivered a candid take on former President Trump and the administration's response to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Conservatives were already tense about how Trump's team was handling sensitive documents linked to Epstein, especially since the Department of Justice had just announced no client list would be released. A statement many saw as a deliberate cover-up. Even prominent right-wing commentators like Laura Ingraham had voiced frustration at the lack of transparency. But it was Whoopi's comments that truly set everything ablaze. Turning to the camera, she declared that anyone believing Trump would expose the truth about Epstein was kidding themselves. She implied that Trump might have allies on that secretive list and that the administration had a vested interest in keeping it hidden. The reaction in the studio was palpable silence, then audible gasps. Some co-hosts looked uncomfortable, while others nodded in agreement. Whoopi pressed on, lamenting the lack of accountability in politics and criticizing the tendency of the public to idolize politicians without demanding real answers. As the show cut to commercial, the backstage atmosphere reportedly became chaotic, with producers and executives stunned by her unscripted outburst. The View has always thrived on frank discussions. But there's a fine line between strong opinions and statements that could be construed as defamatory, especially when someone like Trump is involved. He's known for being litigious. Insiders say ABC executives quickly pulled Whoopi aside and urged her to tone down her rhetoric, yet she refused to back off. Later in the show, she doubled down, saying that protecting reputations shouldn't outweigh telling the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. She insisted that the real problem in politics is the unwillingness to call things as they are. To understand the gravity of this clash, you have to look at Whoopi's history with ABC. In 2022, she was suspended for 2 weeks after making controversial remarks about the Holocaust. That incident proved ABC wasn't afraid to discipline its stars when public pressure mounted. Now, with her explosive Epstein commentary, the parallels are clear. She's speaking her mind. ABC is under fire. An insider suggests executives are debating how to respond. The stakes feel higher now, with Epstein, Trump, and possible government cover-ups fueling an atmosphere of volatility. Reports suggest ABC is getting calls from political operatives, questioning whether The View crossed legal or ethical boundaries. Some wonder if this will be the last straw for Whoopi, especially since her contract is up for renewal soon, and there are rumors that higher-ups want a more neutral personality on the show. After the backlash, the Trump administration rushed to clarify its stance, claiming a commitment to transparency and justice, but the public was skeptical. The controversy had already changed the conversation, even causing some longtime supporters to question the administration's direction and unity. The View's panel analyzed every angle. Sunny Hostin speculated about legal fallout, while Alyssa Farah Griffin, herself a former Trump insider, offered insights into the administration's internal workings. Whoopi wasn't finished, though. She read the DOJ's official statement aloud, mocking its vague language and insisting that Americans could see through the spin. Her frustration mirrored the feelings of millions who feel deceived by official stories and media narratives. She insisted, "You don't get to rewrite history while we're still living it." Outside the studio, public reaction was intense. Social media erupted with hashtags supporting or opposing Whoopi. Many praised her for saying what mainstream hosts wouldn't, while conservative outlets labeled her reckless and accused her of fueling conspiracy theories. The coverage was deeply divided. Progressives hailed Whoopi as a truth-teller. Conservatives dismissed her as another Hollywood celebrity with an agenda. Major news outlets published editorials questioning the DOJ's claims and demanding independent investigations, while right-wing platforms doubled down on defending Trump and accused the media of politicizing the Epstein case. Suddenly, this was more than just daytime TV drama, was a cultural flashpoint. Americans weren't just watching a talk show. They were witnessing a political war played out in real time. Whoopi herself was unfazed, telling Variety that her priority was what's right, not her own career. Behind the scenes, however, things were turbulent. A leaked report from a staffer described rising tensions among The View's co-hosts after the episode. Producers were caught off guard by the intensity of Whoopi's comments, which hadn't been in the teleprompter. Sunny Hostin reportedly backed Whoopi, while Alyssa Farah Griffin voiced concerns about maintaining editorial balance. The atmosphere was tense, with emergency meetings called to address the fallout. Adding to the chaos, rumors circulated about advertisers pulling sponsorships from upcoming episodes. Online, the divide was just as sharp, with hashtags trending for both supporting and canceling Whoopi. Ordinary viewers and celebrities alike weighed in. Rosie O'Donnell praised Whoopi's bravery, while conservative pundit Megyn Kelly accused her of spreading conspiracy theories. Even Senator Elizabeth Warren commented on the need for transparency in investigations as serious as Epstein's. The debate had grown beyond Whoopi herself and was now about how far mainstream media would go to hold powerful people accountable. Rather than retreat, Whoopi chose to double down. On the following week's live episode, she again faced the camera and reaffirmed her stance. She insisted that asking uncomfortable questions was essential, especially when official narratives seemed suspicious. The response in the studio was mixed. Some applauded, others were visibly tense. Conservative media again criticized her, but survivor groups and activists praised her for demanding answers. The deeper message, she said, was about the dangers of silence and complacency. After nearly a week of viral clips, heated headlines, and growing debate, ABC finally released an official statement. The network emphasized its support for open dialogue and diverse opinions, but insiders said the atmosphere behind the scenes remained fraught. Reports from production assistants described a widening rift among co-hosts, with some feeling blindsided by Whoopi's comments. Even Joy Behar, usually one of Whoopi's closest allies, was said to be frustrated about the show being under increased scrutiny. Producers scrambled to control the damage, holding pre-show briefings to guide the panel away from sensitive topics, while still aiming to preserve the show's reputation for honesty. Social media observers noticed subtle signs of tension, like co-hosts avoiding eye contact or acting more reserved. Speculation mounted about possible changes to the lineup or pressure on Whoopi to step back. Fans worried The View was approaching a breaking point, but few anticipated what came next. A leaked memo from a senior ABC executive suggested Whoopi was on a watch list due to her increasingly unpredictable on-air comments, especially those implicating Trump. The memo quickly went viral, sparking fury among fans who saw it as evidence that ABC was preparing to silence her. Conservative outlets interpreted the memo as confirmation that Whoopi had become a liability and speculated that the leak was a test to see how viewers would react to her potential suspension or firing. ABC issued a vague statement, neither confirming nor denying the memo's authenticity, but reaffirmed its commitment to robust dialogue. The idea that Whoopi was being monitored for her comments struck a nerve, raising broader questions about free speech, cancel culture, and the responsibilities of media companies in the post-Trump era. Amid the chaos and speculation, Whoopi finally addressed the controversy head-on. Opening The View with a steady, unfiltered monologue, she made it clear that she wouldn't be silenced. She argued that silence had enabled people like Epstein to operate in the shadows for years, and that refusing to speak up is exactly what those in power want. The audience responded with applause. Whoopi insisted that if telling the truth about someone convicted of child trafficking is seen as controversial, then maybe the country needs to rethink who it's really protecting. She addressed the leaked memo directly, saying that if she was on some kind of internal list, it wouldn't change her commitment to speaking out. She made it clear that her loyalty was to the truth and to the millions of people who feel betrayed by official stories and political spin. By the end of her speech, it was obvious that this wasn't just about Whoopi Goldberg or The View. It was about the ongoing conflict over who gets to shape the national narrative and what kind of accountability Americans should demand from their leaders. The public's reaction continued to evolve. Some called for Whoopi to be fired, arguing she'd gone too far. Others rallied to support her, seeing her as one of the few voices willing to challenge the powerful. The debate spilled into broader discussions about the role of media in democracy, the dangers of censorship, and the importance of demanding truth from those in authority. The controversy surrounding Whoopi's comments, the network's response, and the fallout among her colleagues underscored just how charged and divisive the political climate has become, ultimately. Whoopi's stand reminded viewers that the real issue isn't just what's said on television, but why certain questions make people so uncomfortable. In a time when political loyalties run deep and trust in institutions is low, moments like these force everyone, viewers, media professionals, politicians, to confront uncomfortable truths. Whether or not ABC makes changes, and regardless of which side you're on, Whoopi Goldberg's fiery stand will be remembered as a defining episode in America's ongoing conversation about justice, transparency, and the power of speaking out.